Hey guys, welcome to Skeleton Guy Stories. Tonight, I have a story that will make you think twice before exploring the unknown. A hidden door, a chilling discovery, and something that should have stayed buried. Turn off the lights, get comfortable, and let's begin. I found a hidden door in my basement, and I wish I had never opened it. I've lived in my house for 5 years. It's an old place, built in the early 1900s, with all the charm and creaks you'd expect from a century-old home. The basement has always freaked me out a bit. It's cold, damp, and smells faintly of mildew. But I'd never paid it much attention beyond the occasional trip to store boxes or grab tools. When I first bought the house, the real estate agent mentioned that properties from this era often had interesting quirks. Secret compartments, sealed off rooms, odd architectural choices that made sense to someone 100 years ago, but seemed bizarre now. I'd always found that charming, in theory. Now I understand why some things are better left undiscovered. It started last week. I was moving some old furniture around in the basement, trying to make space for my partner's stuff. They're moving in next month, and we needed the storage. The basement isn't finished, just rough concrete floors and exposed stone walls, with ancient shelving units that previous owners had bolted directly into the foundation. I was shifting this massive oak bookshelf, the kind that looks like it weighs a ton, but is actually pretty manageable if you take all the junk off it first. That's when I noticed the draft. At first, I thought it was just the basement being drafty as usual. These old houses aren't exactly known for their tight seals, but this was different. The air was colder, almost icy, and it seemed to be coming from behind the shelf. When I pressed my hand against the wall, I could feel it. A steady stream of frigid air seeping through what should have been solid stone. Curious, I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, shining it along the edges of the shelving unit. That's when I saw the gap, maybe half an inch, where the shelf didn't quite meet the wall. It had been painted over so many times, you'd never notice it, unless you were looking for it. I spent the next hour carefully removing the shelving unit's anchor bolts. They were old, rusted things that crumbled as I worked them free. When I finally pulled the shelf away from the wall, I found myself staring at something that shouldn't have been there. A small wooden door, barely taller than a crawlspace entrance, covered in peeling paint, the same color as the walls. The door had no handle, just a simple keyhole that looked older than the house itself. I checked the property records on my phone, scrolling through the inspection report from when I bought the place. Nothing. No mention of a door, no notes about additional rooms or spaces. Just the standard basement specs I'd barely glanced at 5 years ago. I should have stopped there. I should have pushed the shelf back into place and pretended I'd never seen it. But curiosity is a powerful thing, and I've always been too stubborn for my own good. I went upstairs and grabbed my toolbox, telling myself I was just going to take a quick look. 20 minutes of watching lockpicking tutorials on YouTube later, I was back in the basement with a tension wrench and a pick. The lock was old but simple. 3 pins, no security features. It took less than 5 minutes before I felt that satisfying click. The door swung open with a sound like a long-held breath being released, revealing a narrow stone staircase that spiraled down into darkness. The air that rushed out was wrong, damp and metallic, with an underlying sweetness that reminded me of rotting fruit. I stood there for a long time, flashlight beam playing across the first few steps. They were worn in the middle, smooth depressions that spoke of countless feet making this same journey. The walls were rough-cut stone, not the manufactured blocks of the main basement. This was older, much older. Against every horror movie instinct screaming in my head, I started down. The stairs curved tightly, and I had to watch my step. There was no railing, and the stones were slick with moisture. I counted the steps as I descended. 20, 30, 40. Far too many for the depth I knew my basement reached. When I finally reached the bottom, I found myself in a small circular chamber carved from solid rock. The walls were perfectly smooth, like they'd been worn down by water or time or both. In the center was a well. It looked ancient, the stone rim polished to a dull sheen by countless hands. That's when I noticed the writing. At first, I thought it was just natural patterns in the stone, but as I moved closer, I could see words scratched into every surface, The same phrase over and over. Do not look down. I backed away from the well, my heart pounding in my chest. But then I heard it. A soft, wet sound, like something shifting in water far below. My flashlight flickered. Once, twice. And in that moment of darkness, I heard a whisper. It seemed to come from miles below, yet I could hear it as clearly as if someone was standing right next to me. Help me. I should have run. Every instinct in my body was screaming at me to get out of there. But that voice, it didn't sound threatening. It sounded desperate, scared, human. And isn't that what we're all afraid of? Not being there when someone truly needs help. I leaned over the well, aiming my flashlight down. The beam barely penetrated the darkness. The water was black and still, reflecting nothing, like looking into a hole in the world. But as I stared, the surface began to ripple. Slowly, something started to rise. At first, I thought it was a person. A head, pale and smooth as polished bone, breaking the surface. Then I saw the eyes, round, lidless orbs that reflected my flashlight beam like mirrors. Its mouth opened, and I saw row upon row of needle-like teeth, too many to count, too sharp to be real. And it was smiling. The whisper came again, louder this time. Help me. I don't remember running back up the stairs. I don't remember sealing the door or pushing the shelf back in place. But I must have, because when I came to, I was sitting on my kitchen floor, shaking, the basement door locked and chained. That was 5 days ago. I haven't been back down there since. I told my partner we'd have to find another storage solution. Claimed I found black mold in the basement. They were disappointed, but understanding. If only that were the worst of it. The noises started 3 nights ago. Soft scratching sounds coming from below, like something trying to find its way out. Last night, I woke up to find muddy footprints leading from the basement door to my bed. They were small, like a child's, but the shape was wrong. Too many toes, bent at impossible angles. The scratching is getting louder. Sometimes late at night, I swear I can hear words in it. The same words over and over. Help me, help me, help me. I'm writing this because I don't know what else to do. I can't leave. The house's value has somehow tripled since I bought it, and I'm underwater on the mortgage. Besides, I have a feeling it wouldn't let me go that easily. Not now that it knows I'm here. I haven't been back down there. I don't think I ever will. But the scratches are getting louder, and I can't help but notice they're starting to sound like words. Help me. This is it, guys. Hope you liked the story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a new nightmare. Good luck.